It's the 28th of January and I'm on the train to London to see Zakk Wylde talk about the new Black Label Society album. And, oh, we're at Romford again. So, let's get ready, like, comment and subscribe, and watch my video.
Ray Wolf, Ray Wolf. Ghost towns, arcades, abandoned loose. If it's weird or forgotten, I'm visiting for you. Ray Wolf, Ray Wolf. Theme parks, most stories have true. Local staring while I do a poo.
Hello.
Hi,
What's your name?
my name is Hangman.
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 Nice to meet you, mate.
My name is Hangman.
Hello, Hangman. I'm Ray Wolfston.
Wow,
And
nice
welcome to
meet
my
you.
YouTube channel.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Have a nice day, Hangman. Can I take one of your leaflets?
Huh? Hi, have a
And
nice
this
day.
is a
Yeah, this is our new film. We're University of Hertfordshire. We're students, and we'll have a new film, Hangman.
oh, brilliant. I'll share that on my channel. Nice to meet you. And it's me and Hangman.
Yeah, nice to meet
in Oxford Street.
Spooky, 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 spooky.
Here you go. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel.
Of course. Thank you so much.
You're most welcome. And thank you for your sticker. It's really appreciated. And I really like this Hangman idea. It's really, really good.
I'm glad to hear. Thank you so much.
Cheers. Thank you very much.
Thank you so
Cheers.
much.
Thank you very much. I'll see you later. See you later, Hangman. See you later, Hangman. See you later. See you later, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe.
Spooky, 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 spooky.
This place looks good. Look in the window. Got a stitch. It's pretty cool, isn't it? There's kittens here. Oh, the kittens are really wicked, aren't they? Just coming up to HMV, getting. Oh, look at that! Stranger Things HMV. Stranger Things HMV. Look at that. You know, to HMV, and we got today Black Label Society in HMV. Here we go.
Worlds apart, we meet at last. Join the Wolf Brotherhood, it really rocks. Black is your label, how is my badass name? But otherwise they just call me Ray. Am I alive, or are we all dead? Traversing worlds, jump into the vortex. Rocker, renown, and wolf. Jump in the vortex, full time and space. Worlds collide when we meet face to face. Pull through the void to strange new worlds. Black is your label, but I am. Alright everyone, let's crank it up. Feel the bass drop, get ready to rock. Search the vortex. Jump in the vortex. Jump in the vortex, full time and space. Worlds collide when we meet face to face. Pull through the void to strange new worlds. Black is your label, but I am a wolf.
I'm now upstairs in HMV, waiting for Zakk Wylde to come out. Yeah, so he's going to be talking. Hopefully he'll play a couple of songs, but we don't know that yet. It says that he wasn't. He was just doing question and answer, but he might do some songs. So yeah, it's going to be on soon. Look at all the great Black Label Society jackets on show. We're all part of the Black Label chapter. and we're ready to rock with Zakk Wylde in a question and answer.
1, 2. Check, 1, 2.
Mate, I was listening to it the other day and then I just started putting a couple of songs on. Later, I was on about 30 songs in and I was like, I'm really struggling to turn it off, but I don't really...
Guys, it is such an absolute pleasure on behalf of Spine Farm and Universal to be hosting a really special night on the eve of a very special release indeed. Now in a few minutes, we're going to be joined by one of the greatest guitarists of all time. For now though, we're going to sit down, we're going to have a little Q&A. We're also going to be asking you to ask a few questions as well. So think of a few and I'll be picking as many as I can from the crowd with the very limited time that we have. But for now, could I please ask you to give a very warm welcome, make it loud, for Zakk Wylde.
Oh, yes. Okay. Oh, yes.
Subtle, always subtle.
Exactly how I enter the bedroom every time when me and Bob. So that's the reason why we've been married for 67 years. And that's just one of the pointers I use every night. So just try that.
I like how he's like us and likes to have a joke about what goes on in the bedroom.
We'll also be talking about the album tonight. So, Zakk, it is such a pleasure to have you here.
When I put on the new Black Label album, she leaves the room. Try not to play the album, but go ahead.
Fantastic. Well, look, obviously we want to get on to the main event, the subject of Engines of Demolition, but first things first, the last time a lot of people here might have seen you would be through a screen, or if they were really lucky, in person at the Back to Beginning show.
I went to this, it was great.
That's right.
I mean, tell us, what was that day like? Was the enormity of the event, did it make it just a special day for so many different reasons? Because you played so many gigs, but that must have been one of the ones for the history books.
No, it just, I think, if we were in the world, playing in the World Cup, you don't think about the enormity of the day, or you're on the biggest stage in the world. So it's just, you just face it like it's another show. You know what I mean? So being up there, earlier in the day with, with Philip, Rex, and Charlie and the rest of our Pantera family. So it was, we, played with, exactly. So we played with the fellas, and then after that, I had to go back and shave my legs and put my kilt on, get ready for the big gig with the boss. But, no, my whole thing was just, rehearsals went really well. It sounded great. So, because we haven't done a show in 6 years. So I was just kind of worried about how his breathing would be, because it's just, you could make the records. The records, you're singing one line at a time, and you can take a break, then you can sing some more, and then take it. You know, when you're doing live, it's a free for all. There's no taking a break in between verses and songs. You got to sing all the way through. So, but rehearsals went great, and then so I was like, thank the good Lord on that, because I didn't know how Oz was going to be, you know. So, but he sounded great, and then so when we did the show, I mean, I felt great going into the show, you know, thinking Oz. You know, my main concern was just making sure he was okay. So, but you know, the best thing was I remember, you know, when we were doing Mom, I'm Coming Home, Father Justin put the guitar all the way over here. He wasn't thinking. He just, you know, the microphone was over here. And you know, whenever Oz, if he was having any, you know, if his voice cracked or something like that, if he was having a rough time, I'd always just be there so he could lean on me, so it'd be like karaoke, you know what I mean? So it was just looking at the microphone and the guitar's all the way over here. It was quite the metal conundrum. So I was just like, well, what am I going to do here? So at some point, I'm gonna have to stop playing. So, you know, because I was just, unless Chris Angel's here and he can teach me the art of levitation, you know what I mean? So, and so the guitar would just levitate over there, but obviously I couldn't get in touch with Chris Angel to help me out there. So I just stopped playing and picked the guitar up and had to get it over there so I could just, you know, sing with Oz. But I mean, but aside of that, yeah, it was a great day. And then, you know, after the show, after we got done playing, you know, I was walking off because obviously I didn't even leave because Ozzy wasn't leaving either, because it was like, you know, a 10-minute break and then Sabbath was on. So I ended up running into Axl. And, you know, because Axl was like, yo, Zakk, what's up? And I was just like, bro, what's going on? So I haven't seen him in a little bit. So we just started talking. I was like, bro, you sounded great and everything. Like the band, you know, when Guns was up there, I go, you guys killed it. So, you know, I saw him and I was like, because I had the kilt on, I go, well, since you haven't been wearing the kilt, I figured somebody'd have to be wearing it. So, but anyway, so we came over and I watched, you know, it was with Mom, my wife Barbara Ann, Axl, me, we all watched Sabbath. So it was pretty monumental, man, for sure.
I think it was just as emotional for everybody who was out watching, either through a screen or indeed, you know, who were lucky enough to be there and so on. But it seemed that backstage was just as much of almost like a reunion of everybody who probably owes something to Ozzy as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, the festival things are always cool in that regard anyway. I mean, you could be just going to the bathroom or going to get food, you run into like one of your buddies that you haven't seen in a while, you know, it's like, oh, bro, how you been, you know, so we're crew people that you've worked together, you know, that we started working with Ozzy, and I haven't seen him in 15 years. I'm like, bro, what's going on? So, I mean, I actually went in the bathroom. I was waiting to get online in the bathroom. I walk into the bathroom, and Ronnie Wood was in the bathroom. I ran into a Rolling Stone in the bathroom. I'm like, Ronnie Wood, I love you, man. You know, it's like very kind of weird place to run into a musical legend. Always taking a leak. But
I like to take a leak with celebrities. I had one with Doug Bradley at the Silver Screen Con.
No, I mean, but it was definitely special seeing everybody catching up back there, and everybody that's been. I mean, all the bands playing there have been influenced and inspired by Black Sabbath. So it's just, you know, it truly was a beautiful day. And I told Mom afterwards, I was just like, wow, this is like the most insanely beautiful gift you could have ever given him. You know, because I mean, Freddie Mercury didn't even have what Ozzy had. You know, so I mean, at least Freddie wasn't. You know, it was after the fact, after Freddie had passed away, where they had the massive Queen tribute. But I mean, you know, Ozzy had it so everybody could see him and you know, tell him they love him and like, Oz, how you been, man? I haven't seen you in a while. And you know, all his old friends. I mean, at the end of it, Oz was like, I even met Axl Rose. I never met Axl Rose. You know, so like he was all excited about it. So which was great. So you know, but yeah, it was a beautiful day for sure.
It's the final track is Ozzy's song. Tell us about the writing of that track. When did you write it, and how did that come together?
Well, I actually wrote the music before. Yeah, obviously, I wrote the lyrics, but I mean, I had the music done, and I was just like, I'm really happy with the way it came out. But I was just like, I got to figure out what I want. You know, usually for me, always the lyrics are last, so I got to figure out what I want to sing about. But like Lord Humongous, you know what I mean? So let's figure out how to write a song about Lord Humongous and Mad Max. But No, I was just like, I didn't have any lyrics for it, but after we had laid Oz to rest, because we had done the show, and then I went back home, we were playing with Pantera. And it was just, after we did the gig, it was just, and Oz, I got the phone call, from Jackie Boy, and I spoke with Jack that, Oz passed away, and then it was like, so then we flew back over, we laid Ozzy to rest, and when I got back home, right after we got back, I, went right back to playing with Pantera Celebration. It was crazy because the first gig we did back, when I flew back after we laid Ozzy to rest, was at Jones Beach in New York. So, and I remember playing there with Ozzy when it was pouring rain, and it was like people all in the front where you guys were all standing. Everybody was standing in like knee-high water. So I'll never forget that show. And it was just, so we were playing there. So basically Ozzy was, all I was thinking about was Ozzy at that first show. And then we ended up, after we got done with the Pantera Celebration, once the tour ended, I got home. And then it was crazy, like in our library room where we have books, we have Ozzy's books up that are in the library shelves. And it was just like, I was looking at him, I was listening to the tunes, and I just wrote the lyrics.
Stepping into the role of Black Label Society after spending so much time in other roles, wearing other hats, because of course, as Zakk Wylde, you wear more than one.
Well, I think, of all the musicians in the world, I'm one of them. But I mean, no, it's just, as a musician, you love playing. So, whenever I get asked to do, Experience Hendrix, and we're all out there honoring Jimmy, I always look forward to that, if we can do it. And so whenever they call me up and they're like, would Zakk want to be part of it? Of course I would. So it's like my Experience Hendrix family, and I go out there and see, it's always great seeing everybody and paying tribute to Jimmy. And then, whenever we had done Generation X back in 2016 with Father Steve, Nuno, Yngwie, and Tosin, when we all get together, that's always a blast as well. So, it's just a great time. So, like, of course, why wouldn't you do it, And then, obviously, when we do Zakk Sabbath, that's always a blast. And then, obviously, Black Label. But the whole thing is, the reason why, I can't believe it's already been 2021 was when Doom Crew Incorporated came out. And so we started working on this album, like, middle of, 2022. And, it was just like we went out and did Pantera Celebration for a year. Figured, after we got done writing, we'll put the new Black Label album out. And then we went back out again. And I came back and wrote some more riffs, and I was just like, and some song ideas. I said, we might as well get the fellas out to the Vatican again, then we'll record some more. Then we went back out for another year, and then recorded some more. So next thing you know, we're sitting here talking right now, and that's like 4 years have gone by, like in the blink of an eye. So, to me, it was just like, I'll just keep writing until we're ready to, until Pantera Celebration takes a rest, and then we'll put the album out. There's no sense of putting the album out if I'm not going to be able to give it any TLC, you know what I mean?
And so, did you get everybody back to the Black Vatican to record and produce the entire record? And is that where most of the songwriting took place? Or did it take place elsewhere?
Yeah, it'll always usually take place at the Vatican when I get home. Once we get out on the road, whether we're doing Zakk Sabbath or we're doing Pantera Celebration or whatever, it's not that much that I do writing. I might as well jam when I'm in my room. But if I get a song idea or a ballad thing or something on the guitar, maybe. But usually when you're writing heavy riffs, you want to the instruments that you're playing on usually dictate and inspire you the way you're going to play. Whether I'm sitting behind the piano, you're going to start playing, you're going to more reflective mellows, either the Stones, Allman Brothers, Elton, the Eagles. That kind of stuff is going to come out of you with an acoustic guitar. When you're playing the piano, you really don't think about writing something like Supernaut or Into the Void, you know what I mean? So, but when you're playing an electric guitar, I'll plug into my little practice amp at the house and just, at a low volume with some reverb on it, so it sounds like I'm playing at Madison Square Garden with nobody in it. And it's inspiring, it inspires you to write, riff-orientated stuff. You know what I mean? So that's why I usually just wait.
I've always wanted to know how he writes his songs and how he gets his sounds and how he gets his inspiration for his music.
So I imagine getting back to your own studio means that you get the space and the time to do this. But is it as simple as you say? I mean, just sitting down with a guitar, a piano, coming up with these riffs? Because now there's so much being said about AI is going to replace songwriting, all this kind of stuff. How do you feel about that? Because it's always in the headlines.
I mean, AI is fine. I mean, it would almost kind of be like if me and you were sitting around going, "Hey guys, can you write like a song you think Black Sabbath would write?" You know what I mean? I'm saying, so it's no different than that. But you're never going to be able to replace what is coming out of Ozzy's mind, what's coming out of Tony Iommi's mind, what Geezer's thinking when he's going to write lyrics, and how Bill's going to approach the drums on a riff. You know, what kind of drum beat he's going to play. So, you know, because when you get a record from whatever your favorite artist, your favorite band, you're getting a piece of them. So you can't ever replace that. I mean, it's just like saying you're going to write AI Pantera. You can't replace what was going on in Dime's mind and what Vinny's going to play. It's Pantera is those four guys. So it's Philip, Rex, Dime, and Vinny, and that's that. I mean, that's Pantera. So, you know, just like, you know, any other band that's who it is. You can't replace what's coming out of Elton John's mind, what he wants to sit down and play on a piano, and what Bernie Taupin's going to write lyrically. That's the beauty of the human element of music. But I mean, AI is fine if it's fun. And in regards, though, you know, if it's going to write something that sounds like, you know, what Led Zeppelin would write or what Black Sabbath would write, and it's just like, oh wow, this came out pretty cool. I mean, like, you know, we always start with Black Label. We always start with the Zeppelin Sabbath mashup, and like I think it's great. I remember like when Ozzy heard it the first time. He was like, oh my God, Zakk, have you heard this thing? You know, I'm like, yeah, I think it's great. You know, it's a whole lot of love, and then you stick in Ozzy singing War Pigs over the riff, and then Robert Plant comes in on the solo. I'm like, dude, this is like the coolest thing ever. You know, so. Like you said, it's like having fun with it. But I mean, but you're never going to replace Ozzy coming up with that melody, Tony coming up with that music, Geezer coming up with those lyrics, and then Whole Lot of Love, Jimmy Page playing that riff, and then Robert Plant singing the Whole Lot of Love scream over the top of it. You know, it's just that's the real thing. You can never replace the real thing. You know what I mean? Except my wife has no problem replacing me. But, you know, various other people and things. You know what I mean? But as long as she's happy, that's all that matters.
Seeing he likes like mashups and like people doing like parodies and like new music done in the style of, he's going to like what I've done on this video.
You mentioned the Allman Brothers. You mentioned Elton John, for instance. Are there any classic songwriters that you keep returning to when you're looking for inspiration, or almost like a bar to reach when you're writing an album like this one?
Well, I think with all artists, you know, whether that's where whatever bands you listen to and artists you listen to, music and stuff like that, I think everybody, it's in your DNA, and that's that. You'll always carry that with you. I just saw a thing on Instagram. It was saying they've done studies, and I mean, it just makes perfect sense. You don't need to do a study. I mean, I think we all know that. Like, if you got music it said music studies show from, you know, when you're 13 years old to 17 years old, you know, those teenage years, from like, you know, a lot of things that happen to you during those years of your life, you know, with music you're listening to, always that nostalgia you'll always carry with you the rest of your life. You know, when you're 80 years old, you'll be listening to that music. And I mean, my father, my father's 89 years old when he passed away, and Dad he loved Sinatra. So I mean, that was his music that he was weaned on. So you're going to be a fan of that till the day you die. So I think, you know, if you're a fan of Elvis, you'd be a fan. You know, if you saw Elvis when you were 13 years old, you'd be listening to Elvis. You have memories attached to those records and that music, and it'll be with you forever. And whether it's the Stones, the Beatles, Zeppelin, Sabbath, I mean, anything.
I totally understand. Ozzy Osbourne was my hero when I was a wee pup back in the Thames Estuary, so I love him so much.
You mentioned Instagram. Do you pay attention to the generation of up-and-coming guitarists who spend their time playing riffs to the camera and so on? Because it does seem like there's been a doubling effect in skill and the kind of things that people are doing these days.
Yeah, I think it's great. You know, like you see so many younger guitarists and with great technique and their love of the instrument. I think that's great. That's what you want. You know, so and I think it's an awesome thing. You know, so you have all these amazing players, and that's a good thing.
I always like discovering new players and new bands and new musicians.
And speaking of influences, you mentioned Lord Humongous and Mad Max before. Is that film one of your inspirations? Arguably one of the most metal series of all time.
Yes, without a doubt. So, you know, but it just goes back to, you know, like with lyric writing, you know, where you can get inspiration from anywhere. You know, like things that have either happened to me, have happened to a friend of mine, happened to somebody I know, or, you know, current events. You got, you know, there's so many things you could sing from. And like I said, Lord Humongous, Crazy Horse. I remember when I wrote the lyrics to that one, I just wrote it basically, it's about a horse. That's crazy, you know, so. But no, I wrote it about Crazy Horse because I remember me and my friends would always, my one buddy's Native American Indian, we used to talk about, like, in a thumb wrestling match, who wins, you know what I mean? Like, whether it's Crazy Horse, Sitting Bull, or Geronimo and stuff like that, you know, so, you know, we'd always talk about Indian warrior chiefs and stuff like that. So, but, you know, I just wrote basically about Crazy Horse. It's just basically like a short little Wikipedia in a song. So, you know, that's what I'm saying. So inspiration can come from anywhere.
I hope you get inspiration from our channel, Zakk.
And how do you keep it fun in the studio? You've been recording, you've been playing for so long. What's the key to the longevity of Black Label Society and all the fun you've been having?
Well, no, I think it's just the love of playing, you know? So, I mean, I still love doing it. I have some friends that are like, man, Zakk, I don't know how you still enjoy touring. Or I got off the road. I just had to stay home or whatever, you know, because they'd rather stay home, work at a theater. I got one of my buddies, and he does sound at a theater, and, you know, this way he goes home at night, but he's around the house and everything. He has kids now and everything like that, but, like, he was just like, I couldn't deal with the road anymore, you know, being away. So I completely understand that, too, you know, but, like, I mean, for me, I mean, that's not a bridge that I've crossed yet, but, you know, like Keith Richards always said, like, when are you going to retire? And he goes, retire from what? Like, if I enjoy reading a good book and having a cup of coffee, what am I retiring from? You know what I mean? So, like, these are things I enjoy. We like going to, you know, you guys like going to a soccer game, or you like going to see cricket or whatever. It's just like, why am I going to retire from that? Me and the guys are going down to have a good time. So, you know, life's meant to be enjoyed, man. So, you know, do what you love.
Zakk, would you like to come down to Millwall? I'd like you to come down to the den with me.
Amen to that. And your album is out in March. You're touring the UK in May. You're back here for Bloodstock in August. What can people expect from the shows?
Yeah. They can expect a lot of dancing and a lot of calorie burning. So if you want to have that extra slice or two of pizza, go for it, because you're going to be dancing so much you'll burn off a couple pies, actually.
I think if I ate a couple of pies, I wouldn't be able to move around that much. I'd be all like bloated and like Carol in the corner.
Going to move on to some questions from the audience now. My glamorous assistant Tristan is
Bring it on! What do you got?
Got a lot, Zakk. Got a lot.
Let's go with the gentleman in the ball cap right there in the middle.
Hi, Zakk. My question to you is, how do you approach writing leads to your songs? For me as a musician, one of the biggest kind of inspirations from your music is how you can turn one note into a symphony from your simplistic approach. And I imagine a lot of other musicians here feel the same way. So what's your approach to writing leads?
I mean, as far as, you know, with the solos, it's always, you know, being a Randy Rhoads disciple, you know, that's Randy's legacy. I mean, it is writing a song within a song. So, you know, you sit down and you actually compose a solo. You know, so like for all my heroes, I mean, between Jimmy Page, with Stairway to Heaven, then you have, you know, Don Felder and Joe Walsh in Hotel California, and then, you know, just name one of Randy's solos. It doesn't matter any of them. SATO, Mr. Crowley, I mean, all of them. It just, you know, you can tell Randy sat and composed. Let me write something until I'm happy with what I got here. And, you know, you sit and you noodle. You know, I mean, a lot of times I can hear it in my head where I want to go, where it starts and everything like that. Like Neil Sean is amazing as well. You know, as far as writing super memorable solos and then he'll start with a melody and then he kicks in the afterburners and plays this blazing solo at the end. You know what I mean? So, and Neil Sean's a big influence as well. So, no, but I mean, as you know, because you have that short little gap for the solo, so you know it should, you know, have the song and then it elevates the song and it takes it to another place. You know what I mean? So it's part of the song. As opposed to, you know, improvising and just blazing over something is, you know, that has its moments too. You know, of just pure energy and just shred, but and some improv. But you know, for a lot of times, they just like to construct something.
The guitar work on the new album is absolutely insane. There's shredding, there's everything on it. You're just going to love it. Such a great new record.
Thanks very much. Tristan, the gentleman there in the glasses.
Hi, Zakk. Do you ever suffer with writer's block, and if so, how do you work around it?
I mean, as far as writer's block, I would say for anybody, just, you know, like lifting weights. If you're feeling tired and fatigued, take a week off. You know what I mean? I think with writer's block, just step away from it for a little while. You know, and don't even think about it. Either that or focus on other things. You know what I mean? Whether you're soloing and stuff like that and doing other things. But you know, I think the writing, you always, once you get inspired by something, you might hear Heart of Gold by Neil Young and just go, oh man, it'd be cool to have something like this. And you grab an acoustic and you write something, and you end up writing Knocking on Heaven's Door. But you know, but the spark, like I would have never got that if you wouldn't have told me. You were like, Zakk, I was listening to Heart of Gold and I just picked up acoustic, started jamming something like, and then I just ended up writing this song. I called it Knocking on Heaven's Door, and I'd be like, wow, I would have never got that if you didn't tell me. But you know, but it was the spark of inspiration that got you to start writing. But yeah, I don't think you can't force it. You know, I mean, I can't force you to get inspired. You know, if you're not feeling it, then you're not feeling it. You know what I mean? But if you hear something else by, you know, one of your favorite bands or somebody, you know, and you're just like, oh man, it'd be cool to have a riff like that. Next thing you know, you end up writing it, and then it turns into something else completely different anyways. But the spark of inspiration was, you know, that band that, you know, you were like, dude, that is so cool, that riff or whatever. So I think a lot of it comes from that too.
You can't force it, but if you're not inspired by the new Black Label Society album, I don't know what you're going to be inspired by. You might as well just give up.
Jedi level advice right there. Thanks so much, Tristan. Gentleman there in the Black Label shirt, that probably doesn't help very much.
Yeah, I think everyone had a Black Label Society shirt on at this event.
Hi, Zakk.
I don't have a...
Due to you being in Black Label Society, well, you formed it. Due to Black Label Society being around for a long time, are there going to be some, like, for your like recent tour, are there going to be like some old songs like playing from the first like 2 or 3 albums, like Super Terrorizer, for example?
Yeah, I mean, we got to, you know, pull something from the early records as well. You always have to do that anyways, you know. I mean, obviously you got the staple songs, you know, like, you know, Dancing Queen by ABBA. You know, we always have to put that in the set, you know what I mean? There's staples. But, you know, Suicide, Messiah, Stillborn, I mean, those are certain songs, you know, River and everything like that, Dime Song. But, no, we were looking at the set right now trying to, I mean, our problem isn't as bad as the Rolling Stones, you know, trying to put together a set where they're out on stage for 3 days having to play half the catalog. But, no, you never know. Super Terrorizer might make it in there and some of the other ones, too.
I love all the songs that go wow, 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 wow. They're all my favourite because I like to make that sound. And I even bought the microphone that makes that sound. So, those ones are my favourite. A microphone, it's more like a you know, pedal that you press on, and it's got like this like tube, like a straw that goes up to the microphone, and then you blow into it while you're singing from the microphone. you know, it's really hard to explain how to use it, but if you haven't seen these things, you've got to go and get one. I think they're called a talk box, but if, you know, lady's box started to talk, you'd get really worried about this. It'd be you thinking having like some kind of psychedelic trip or something.
Has anything touched you? Has anything shown that we, as almost your grandchildren, your nieces and nephews, has anything shown that we're ready to step up to the plate and make him proud as well as you guys?
Well, I think if Oz would have seen the outpouring of love for him, you know, when doing his funeral and everything like that, it was just, you know, it just shows you how many people he's touched and everything like that. I mean, I remember sitting around. I was at Ozzy's house at the time, and Sharon and Ozzy, me and Barbara Ann were staying there, and I guess Sharon and Barbara Ann went out to go see the movies or something like that, and then so me and Oz were in house alone, and Oz was sitting there talking. He goes, "Yeah, Zach, you know, I don't do drugs anymore. I don't drink anymore. I don't do cigarettes anymore. I never thought I'd give that up." And he goes, "I don't even drink coffee anymore." And then he looked at me and he goes, "Zach, why am I alive?" And I go to Oz, I go, "Oz," I go, "Look at man." I go, "You know, you make a lot of people happy. You could be having a crummy day, and they listen to like any Sabbath or they listen to Diary of a Madman, and you make their day better, man." I go, "You're doing God's work." And he goes, "Yeah, I suppose." And then he looks at me again and I go, he goes, "Zach," and I go, "What, Oz?" He goes, "Why am I alive?" No, he was hilarious, man. Okay. I mean, just being around him, I always said it was like a miracle any work ever got done, ever.
First thing I have to say is someone's been really inconsiderate with like leaving their phone on and not putting on aeroplane mode. The second thing I have to say is Ozzy was a lovely guy. He was generally funny and very, very nice, and he was like this to everyone. It wasn't fake. He was, you know, just a great person, and I'm always going to remember Ozzy Osbourne.
I mean, put it this way, I'll tell you another one. I remember when we were getting ready to do the No More Tours tour, I guess we were in rehearsals, and you know, it was me, Blasco, Tommy, and Adam, and everything like that. We're all getting ready for the big rock show, and we're in rehearsals. And this guy comes in, he's got a briefcase, and he had like some buddies with him or whatever. And we're all like, everybody in the crew, whatever, we were like, "Who are those guys?" And everybody's like, "I don't know who it is." You're like, "Guys, you know who that is?" It's like, "No, I've never even seen those guys before." So then we find out that Mom got a vocal coach for Ozzy. So he's there, you know, and Oz goes, "Hey guys, Sharon got me a vocal coach," you know, and I go, "Oh, that's cool, Oz." I go, "Mom's just looking out after you. She just wants you to kick as much ass as you can." And he goes, "Yeah, I guess." He goes, "It's a little late in the game for a vocal coach, though, isn't it?" Oh, he's the best, man. A little late in the game, isn't it?
Legendary. Okay.
His vocals were always so strong. He really kind of like brought his attitude and his voice out to the stadiums, and it was always a pleasure to see him live.
Yeah, go for it, man.
Hi, I have a
What do you don't
question.
know?
If you like had the opportunity to work with an artist you've never worked with before, dead or alive, who would it be?
I mean, I've been truly blessed in the regard of, you know, obviously being such an Ozzy fan of Sabbath and Randy and Jake, and then I'm in the band. I mean, it's pretty mind-blowing, but then, I mean, it's beyond, it exceeded all my wildest dreams. And then, you know, I got the chance to sit in with the Allman Brothers. That was mind-blowing. I've met Elton John. I've met, like all my heroes, and I've been blessed in regard that I met them all on a good day. So it didn't ruin anything. But, like all my musical heroes I've met or I've become friends with. So, I mean, I thank the good Lord every day for that. But, you know, but people always ask me, like, "Zach, if you could pick a band and make a band, what would you?" And I always tell them, I'm already in it. You know, so, you know, between playing with Jeff, Dario, and JD, I'm in the band that I want to be in with Black Label. And then obviously when I'm rolling with Philip, Rex, and Charlie, I'm blessed to be up there every night when I play with the fellas. You know, to be up there rolling with them. So, no, my life is truly blessed. I'm playing with all the musicians I love playing with.
That guy still hasn't turned his phone off. I thought you'd have learned from the first time it went off, and the time before that. But yeah, it's a bit disrespectful that you left it on. Anyway, I love Pantera, and I love his work with Pantera. God, he really brought out the sound that Dimebag did, and it just sounded like how it was meant to sound. Dimebag would be so proud of him for doing that, and the shows have just been phenomenal.
Gent in the cracking Blizzard of Oz shirt in the back there.
What do you got?
Right, so it's been decades of writing, recording, touring, and all that stuff, and incredible music. And I think we tend to focus a lot on the guitar work. But how about vocals? It's really amazing vocals behind your music as well. So do you ever practice? How do you keep the vocals going so long?
Well, I mean, the whole thing is, I remember with Oz, I go, Oz, I mean, I love all your vocals, Oz. But I mean, like, the Sabotage album, I'll put your vocals, the recordings on that album, I'll put them up against anybody's as the best vocal rock recordings of all time. What were you doing? You taking vocal lessons or eating your Wheaties that morning? And Oz goes, no, Zakk, just lots of drugs and alcohol. I go, oh, there you go. And so, but yeah, no, I mean, for me, it's just, I mean, I always tell everybody, singing as well, just the more you do it, like anything, you practice guitar, you're bound to get better. So it's just a matter of singing over and over. But I mean, being on the road there, you got to get sleep. For me, I mean, especially when you're touring, you got to sleep. So, yeah, I mean, I just laugh. I mean, like, when I look at, when we're doing the Pantera celebration, when they show the pre-film of, before we start playing, the monologue going on up there of, like, all the dying vision of all the crazy antics and the silly shenanigans. I'm always sitting there with Philip, and we're just watching it. I mean, the amount of debauchery and shenanigans going on up there, I go, there's no way we're doing this if we were still doing that. There's just no way. No way, man. And I mean, we had a great time. I had a great run when I was, berserking with the fellas and everything like that. But now, there's no way. I mean, we'd be doing that stuff while rolling on like zero sleep all the time and everything like that. But now, I got to get, between shaving my legs and getting my manicures, I got to make sure I get my beauty sleep now. Mind you, it's not helping with my looks and it's not helping with Barbara Ann, but I mean, I still do it anyways. But you got to get your sleep though, man. I mean, being on the road now.
Come on, it's working. There you go. Hello.
Fun times really do take it out on your body, and then you can't party as much as you did before, even though you tried to. But you got to remember the good times when you partied and partied and partied, and you couldn't party no more. Those are the times that you always remember. Those are the best of the times with your friends. I said, I've partied so many times I feel like Andrew WK.
When it's time to party, we will party hard.
Great to have you back in the UK. So, you've been in the business for decades. Like, the first record I listened with you on, it was No Rest for the Wicked. Influenced me massively. And you talk about how you play in Pantera and you're honouring Dime. In playing with Ozzy, you honouring Rhodes. Big influences for you. Does it ever become like a conscious awareness for you that you are that guy for so many people? You're the guy that other people kind of aspire to be, whether it's musically or personally, or we see the attitude that you carry in life and think, that's a good way to live life, right?
Well, I think on behalf of all of us, you know, your job in this life is, you know, if you inspire other people, it could be from like your football coach, it could be from your teachers or whoever you knew, you know, your aunt, your uncle, or whatever, you know, somebody, if they've told you something and it actually resonated with you and you carried it with you the rest of your life, you know, I mean, I'm just saying, like, the light of inspiration, you know, like for Jimmy Page, he said, you know, when he saw Elvis, like, that was the beacon of light for him, of like, this is what I want to do with my life, and I'm gonna dedicate my life to music, you know what I mean? Because he was just like, I have to be part of this, and that was Elvis for Jimmy Page. And then look at how many people Jimmy Page has inspired to become musicians and what it is that they wanted to do in life. You know what I mean? So, you know, I always tell my kids that. It's just like, whatever it is, you don't need to be a musician just because I'm a musician. You're writing your own book and you're writing your own movie. Whatever it is you love and whatever you have passion for, that's what you should be doing. Because that's where you're going to thrive and that's where you'll shine. So, you know, it's just, and that's on behalf of all of us, everybody sitting in this room. So, and, you know, if you inspire somebody to do something that they're just like, man, I never thought about doing it, and it's just like you inspired them, that's great, because that's a gift. And, you know, we're all capable of doing that. And that's a beautiful thing. That's what it's all about. Because if I hadn't, you know, for the Beatles, they inspired Ozzy, and they were Ozzy's beacon of light. You know, you could be in a boat out in the middle of the ocean with the fog, and it's black out, and it's nighttime, and you don't see anything, and this light goes on, this lighthouse, and it's like, now I know where land is. And that's you discovering yourself. And so, you know, the Beatles for Ozzy, that was when he heard the Beatles, that was his beacon of light. And it's just like, and look at, because of that, because of the Beatles inspiring Ozzy, look at who Ozzy's gone on to inspire me and Dime and then millions of people, you know, to achieve what they wanted to achieve. You know, so, and not only that, just bring joy to people and good times, man. So, and the same thing with Dimebag. I mean, it's just like, look at Dime. He's inspired so many kids to want to become musicians and want to play, and it's his light of inspiration. And the same thing that Randy Rhoads did for me and Dimebag and all my buddies. So, it's an endless, you know, torch of inspiration. It's a beautiful thing. It's awesome.
You've always been an inspiration to me. I met you countless times. You're always not such a nice bloke. And you always talk to me and give me a hug, and I really like it. Because it's the connection with the fans that really means something. And when it comes down to it all, the music's amazing. But you've got to have the connection with the fans, because it's the fans that buy the music.
Gentleman who's had his arm up for about 5 years, just on the end there with the blind.
Bring it on, brother.
Yeah. Hello, Zakk. How are
you? What are you doing, bud?
I'm good. I thought you was going to bring the toy with you today.
What's that, bud?
The toy. I don't know the toy. The toy.
Oh, my warrior.
The warrior.
No, I actually have him back at the hotel. I got the mask and everything. I break that out later on for Barbara Ann, where we're gonna have make out and stuff like that. I put the Ultimate Warrior mask on, and she just can't resist it.
I think everyone loved the Ultimate Warrior when they were a kid, and it's good to have a mascot. I'm all for having a good mascot.
Can I ask a question?
Go for it.
Thank you. Just a question for my pleasure. Watching you live is amazing. I just want to know, do you wear anything under your kilt? And if not, can you make an exception?
It depends on whether Barbara Ann's around and the kids aren't around. You know what I mean? So whether I'm wearing anything under the kilt or not.
Thank you.
Epic question. Okay. And
I think he has to watch out if she's in the front row, because now he knows what she's going to be doing. She's going to be looking up his kilt.
What do you got, my brother?
From the Irish chapter.
Without a doubt. There you go. Cheers, my brother.
Good man. Listen, obviously I followed you from when you first with Ozzy.
Yeah.
So I've just kept an eye on you all
No
my
rest
life.
for the wicked. That's in 2 years. It's going to be 40 years ago, man.
Yeah. All my life, the Pride and Glory, the whole thing. I'm a massive fan. And when Ozzy passed away, when the news broke, I sat on the sofa and Scott, it was like light switched off. It was, you know, when somebody dies that, you know, they're famous, whatever, but this felt different. It was a different death. It's like, it wasn't just, and I heard other people saying as well, it was just abnormal, it was just weird. That I woke up Friday morning saying, am I done with metal music? Is it all over? But my wife said to me, you got to crack on, you got your black label, you got your this, you got whatever. And the first person I actually thought of was you. So how was Zakk going to do, you know? You've been with him so long. And a very quick question as well. This is a mad one. I remember years ago, I mean, there was the whole trouble with the Hell's Angel stuff, the jacket and the label and all that kind of stuff. A lot of trouble with that kind of stuff. I've been through that. I had a bit of a rolling around with the Hell's Angels in West London, West London Herald. Is that all done now? Or remember a while back it was kind of like, geez, you can't wear that jacket, you can't do this. Like, have you heard of the stories?
Yeah, but I mean, we haven't had any problems. I mean, when the guys come down to shows or anything like that, there's never been any issues, anything like that. But no, I had nothing like that. But I mean, you know, in regards to that. But I mean, in regards to, yeah, Ozzy passing away though, it was just, I think, you know, with Oz, Lemmy, Keith Richards, you know, it's kind of like the air you breathe. You just think these guys will never, they're always going to be here. You know what I mean? But no, I mean, I see so many signs of Ozzy being around all the time. You know what I mean? Me and my wife Barbara Ann, and it's just, which is pretty. And I also see signs from Dimebag all the time as well. You know what I mean? So it's just signs of them where I just like, or I'll be thinking about them, then we run into something and there's a picture of Dimebag somewhere or a picture of Ozzy comes up or whatever. I'm like, wow, we were just talking about him, you know?
Yeah, because Ozzy just lives about 50 minutes away from me. I was at the house the day after he died, and I just sat at the gate and it was. But anyway, I'll see you in Bloodstock and I'll see you in London. And thanks for everything.
Great talking to you, man. Cheers, my brother.
Yeah. So, Zakk, you've been so generous with your time, and it's been such a delight to share this. And I'm so sorry that we can't get to every single question, but I'm going to end with a final question for you. What would you like to say to the fans here, the first generation of fans, the people who have been with you from the very beginning? Because it's such a special thing to share this moment with you, not just to see you on stage as a musician, but also to have a conversation like this. What would you like to say to the fans who are supporting you and have been here from the very beginning?
Well, just like the same thing. Just live every day like a berserker. And enjoy it. Every day is meant to be. Every day is a gift, man. You know, I mean, nothing for nothing. Whether you're just sitting around, just reading a book about Led Zeppelin, having a cup of coffee, and just going home and chilling out, that's a great day, man. So you know, whether you're doing that or you're doing anything you want to do, but you know, just do what you love and have a good time, and then hopefully, and get those 2 extra slices of pizza after you listen to Engines of Demolition, because you will be dancing and burning calories.
If you want a good rut, come down the football. It's always a bit of fun.
It'll be like Shakira and J-Lo on steroids.
That's the quote of the night.
It took me so long to realize.
Okay, gentlemen, would you please give it up for Zakk Wylde?
It's great seeing you guys. Cheers, gang. God bless. And once again, before we go here, Ozzy, 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 Ozzy. Oh yes, that's right, that's right. Cheers, guys.
Yeah. Once again, give it up for Zakk Wylde.
Cheers, guys. Come down and shake your hand. Thank you, take a picture, hold on. I got everybody in there, ready? Thanks very much.
Cheers, guys. How you doing, man? Come through here, man. Oh, sorry. Oh, struggling it. Cheers, guys. What's going on, man? Cheers, bro. Cheers, guys. What are you doing, my brother? Cheers, guys. Thank you, man. What's that? I'll squeeze in anybody. Take it easy. Good to see you off. I'm going to squeeze in, brother.
Thank you. Thank you.
At the end, I seem to lose my shirt off my back. We got a Barbie poster here. Look at me looking funny with the Barbie poster. And we got over here in HMV, we got Penguin. And we got Mission Impossible. We got the Penguin. And we got Mission Impossible. And we got The Exorcist, which I like. Bazooza. Some cool figures. Look at these figures. There's some Marvel stuff, some Star Wars, Batman, Silent Hill, Fallout. I just thought I might as well look while I'm here. Some Star Wars figures. Down here some more figures and loads of pops. Oh, I'm a bit tired now. That was great, that Zakk Wylde interviewing and stuff. This is a bit epic over here, isn't it? And then this would look good in your Fortress of Solitude, wouldn't it? And this thing down here. Keep in touch. After the question and answer, Zakk Wylde came out and he signed autographs and took pictures with people. And he was really friendly and really accommodating. That's my drum skin there. I got that signed by him. I've got it signed by Rex and I've got it signed by Charlie. So all I need is Phil Anselmo on there. So if you're watching my channel, Phil, I need you on my drum skin. Yeah, I think that's my friend Arthur's album. Is that there? Getting it signed. Yeah, it's very cool. Look, he's spending real time and he draws a little guitar and everything. So, you know, it's like really personal, and it's very good that he does all this. But look, he's signing everyone's stuff. So, good on Zakk Wylde for doing this, and thank you very much for signing all our stuff for us. Just move out of the way, so.
Zakk, please take a photo. Please take a photo.
This shop's window's really cool. We've got Jude Bellingham there. Let's have a look what else we got. This is Sports Direct, which is quite cool. And this other window, this is one I've been looking forward to looking at. We got Messi here. Look at me and Messi. It's pretty cool, isn't it? Yeah, look at me and Messi. Yeah. We went to the Outernet afterwards and had a quick look to see what's going on there. I always find the Outernet really interesting. Look at this thing. This thing's really cool. It's like a little tree house with like, what's that there? Some kind of bird. And then they got like these things like over here. Don't know what they are. Some like plant people or something.
The Keeper of Balance awakens. Life returns to the trees.
Here we go. He went on about that keep a rhythm, but I dropped my phone, so I couldn't video it, which was a bit of a mistake. we go. What's over here? Let's go and see what's over here in this place. Ooh, funky colours and stuff. Funky, look at this. Ooh. Flamingos. All these flamingos. These are cool, aren't they? Yeah. I like the Outernet. The Outernet's always really cool. Look up here. Police siren. You know that. Let's do some advertising for our channel. Here we go. Do advertising for your channel. You know that. Let's do some advertising for our channel. Here we go. Here we go. It's on. Yeah. Here we go. Ray unboxing sticker on another post. Doing some sort of like you know, territorial graffiti, but with advertising on my channel. There you go. Post. Look at that. Doing some like you know, territorial graffiti, but with advertising on my channel. There you go. Look at that.